Hello, my curious learners. I'm here once again with the second part of this poem, The Solitary Reaper by William Wordsworth. And this is Brishpal Singh. I welcome you all on my channel English with Chahar Sir. Yesterday, I got a message from one of my students uh, to upload the second part of this poem because the first part I have already uploaded. So now I am here on the request of my student to deal with the text of this poem. So friends, this is the second part of this poem. So now here it is, text of the solitary reaper. So friends, theme, prosody, figures of speech, फॉर्म्स मीटर ये सारी चीजें हम इसके फर्स्ट पार्ट में ऑलरेडी डिस्कस कर चुके हैं एंड नाउ इट्स टाइम फॉर अस टू deal with the text of this poem. So as you are observing, I have the text of the poem here on the one side, and the other side I have some difficult words, that is vocabulary. So this poem, as you know, is divided into four stanzas. Okay, this is the first stanza. This is second stanza, and this is third stanza, and this is fourth stanza. Okay, so the poem overall is divisible into four stanzas. I've already told you in the first section of this class that this poem was written at the time when the poet went on a journey to Scotland in the company of his sister Dorothy Wordsworth. And Scotland is really a place known for the beauty of nature, known for its scenic beauty, and indeed the scenic beauty of Scotland attracted the poet. The poet was just going up the hills and suddenly he happened to observe a girl, a Scottish girl, who was working in her field all alone, and at the same time she was also singing a song. No doubt the music of the song attracted the attention of the poet, and the poet started listening it very attentively and carefully. And what did the poet feel after being in contact with the song and the sound and the music of the song? This poem is nothing but an expression of that kind of feeling the poet had at the time when he observed the girl working alone in her field amidst the natural beauty So now let's begin. How does the poet express himself? And how does the poet describe the scene that really attracted him? Behold her single in the field, yon solitary highland lass, reaping and singing by herself, stop here or gently pass. Alone she curds and winds the grain, and sings a melancholy strain. Oh, listen, for the vale profound is overflowing with the sound. So here is the first stanza. Now the very first word, behold, you know, the very first word makes it clear that the poet is not alone. Okay, the poet is a part of the crowd. There are people around him, and so he addresses the people around him and asks them to look. Behold, behold means to look and observe a highland lass. Lass means girl. Highland hilly area, that is Scotland. A girl alone, and she was there in the field. So the poet drew the attention of the people around him and asked them to look at a Highland girl who was working alone in her field. So it's just introductory line where the poet introduces the main subject of this poem. The solitary reaper is the main subject of this poem. Now, what the girl is doing? Reaping and singing by herself. By herself again alone. The girl is reaping, that is cutting the crop in the field, and at the same time she is also singing. But the thing to observe is that she is alone. Nobody is there. And so the poet makes an appeal to the people around him that stop here or gently pass. He asked the people around him either to stop there and to enjoy the song of the girl, or if they are not interested in the song, they could go from there but peacefully or silently without creating any disturbance. So, the suggestion that is given by the poet to the people around him clearly shows that how much the poet is lost in the song of the girl. Alone she cuts and binds the grain and sings a melancholy strain. Now, the music, which is another major component of this poem, comes here. The poet further explains and tells the readers that the girl is cutting the crop, and at the same time she herself is just winding the grains. There is no one to help her out. And she is singing a song, extremely song, but the quality of the song is melancholy. That is sad song. The girl is not singing a joyful song, a happy song, rather, she is singing a sad and melancholic song. Oh, listen, the poet once again makes an appeal to the people around him that they should listen attentively. The wail profound the whole valley where they all were standing. Large area was really overflowing with the sound of the song. So the echo of the sound of the song was echoing all around everywhere in the valley, and so this clearly shows the effect and impact of the song on the mind and the heart of the poet. So the song really is impactful, the song is really strong, and the song really makes a deep impression on the heart of the poet. And so the poet asked the fellow beings and the people around him to stop there and to listen silently, peacefully, and enjoy the strong and powerful music that was being or that is being produced by the solitary reaper. So this is the first stanza, and the first stanza brings the background of this poem before us. And now we move to the second stanza. Second stanza is considered to be one of the most beautiful stanzas of English poetry, and particularly for the use of the metaphors. Okay, very appropriate metaphors have been used by the poets. So it is known for its artistic beauty of craftsmanship of the poet that he has displayed in this second stanza. No nightingale did ever chaunt more welcome notes to weary bands of travellers in some shady haunt among Arabian sands. A voice so thrilling never was heard in springtime from the cuckoo bird, breaking the silence of the seas among the farthest beaches. In this stanza, the first thing to notice is that the poet has mentioned two words. Okay, the first is nightingale, and the second word is cuckoo. And you know, these words are really very popular and they have their own distinct qualities. Nightingale is known for its melody, sweetness. At the same time, cuckoo bird is known for its intensity or its impactful voice. Okay, so there is a reason that why the poet has selected only these two words. Okay, because these two words really serve the purpose of the poet, and the purpose of the poet is to show that the song of the girl is really melodious as the song which is sung by a nightingale, and at the same time, the song of the girl is as intense, impactful as the song or the sound that is produced by the cuckoo bird. So that's why these two words have been selected by the poet, because these two words are really appropriate to the situation and the circumstance. Now, how does the poet say that no nightingale did ever chant more welcome notes to weary bands? So here the poet takes an example of the Arabian sands. sense, that is desert, Arabian deserts. And Arabian deserts, no doubt, hardly there are any trees, and the travelers keep making journey, and they do not find any shade to take rest under. But still, there are some trees rarely found in the Arabian deserts. And those tired groups of the travelers come and sit under the shade of those trees. And luckily, Nightingale is also sitting in those trees. And as soon as the travelers come and sit there, the nightingale starts singing very sweetly. And the song is so sweet and soothing, relaxing, that the tired and exhausted travelers immediately fell to sleep, and they really enjoy a refreshing effect in their body and mind. So now the thing is clear that the song of the nightingale is really soothing for the exhausted and tired travelers. Now he comes to the another word, that is cuckoo bird. And it is said that the cuckoo bird produces its sound particularly in the springtime, that is spring season. The sound is very thrilling, that is exciting, and so intense that it even reaches to the farthest islands of Scotland. Those islands which are there amidst the sea, and where mostly the silence prevails, but as soon as the cuckoo bird starts singing, the sound produced by the cuckoo bird reaches to those islands and breaks the silence, and infuses life on those deserted islands. So that is impact of the song that is sung by cuckoo bird. So now the poet tells us about the qualities of the song of the nightingale and the song that is sung by the cuckoo bird. But now we should explain this stanza in that way that the poet here tries to establish the superiority of the reaper's song over the song sung by the nightingale and the song sung by the cuckoo bird. So overall, what the poet means to say, that no nightingale is there in the world that can sing so sweetly or so melodiously as the reaper does. Similarly, no cuckoo bird can produce such an impactful song and sound that is produced by the solitary reaper while working alone in her field. So, overall, in this stanza, we can just understand that the poet is just trying to establish the superiority of the reaper's song over the song sung by the nightingale and the song that is sung by the cuckoo bird. So, this is the second stanza. Now we move to the third stanza. Third stanza actually begins with a question, and that is a rhetorical question. That question is called a rhetorical question. Okay, rhetorical. RHETO. Like, will no one tell me what she sings? Now the poet is confused, and one thing is also clear, Although the poet feels the sound and the music, yet the poet is not able to make out the message and the words of the poem. And that's why, just out of his curiosity, the poet asks if there is anyone who can tell him what the girl is singing, what is the message of the song, what are the words used by the girl in the song. But the poet does not get any response from anyone around him, and so he immediately starts guessing. Perhaps the plaintive numbers flow. Plaintive, very simple. A number means songs. Perhaps the girl is singing very simple songs, and the songs expressing something very old, something very unhappy, something very far off, or maybe some battles that took place long and long ago. So the poet just guess or makes a guess that the girl is singing a very simple song, and through the song, perhaps she is expressing some old and unhappy moments of her life, some incidents of her life, or she is just sharing some of the incidents and events or the losses the community and she herself met. We would say that the community of the girl met due to the battles which took place long and long time ago. Or the second option. Is it some more humble, again very simple, and lame song? Or it is a very simple song which is related to the day to day life or the familiar matter of the day to day life, or some natural sorrow, loss or pain that has been or may be again. Now, one thing here to be noted that the poet is in the present time, and here he comes to the past, okay, and here he starts speculating for the future. So now the poet covers all the three times. So the poet says that it is a very simple song, and the girl is just expressing some of the familiar matters through her song, or the girl is sharing some of the sorrows and loss and pain she has come across or met either in the past or in the time to come, that is in the future. So in this way, this stanza clearly shows that the poet is really curious, first thing. Second, the poet is not able to make out and to understand the exact message and the words of the song. Third thing, the speculations are made by the poet, guessings are made by the poet about the song of the girl. And the fourth important thing is that the poet here is trying to make a kind of forecasting or forecast with the help of these lines. So the girl is describing something, either it took place in the past or something that is going to happen in the time to come. So in this stanza, the poet does not get any answer or or he even does not arrive on some conclusion, logical conclusion, what the song is all about. Then we come to the last stanza of this poem. Whatever the theme, the maiden sang, as if her song could have no ending. Beautiful line. This is the main message of this poem. Now the poet says, the forget the theme of the song, forget what the girl is singing about, No, he has nothing to do with what he likes about the song is its spontaneity, consistency, have no end. The poet feels as if the song of the girl would continue to haunt him, and he does not feel that the song will ever come to an end. So that is the best quality of the song of the girl is spontaneity and consistency. I saw her singing at her work and over the sickle vending. Poet observed the girl while she was working in her field. She had a sickle, that is a scythe, an instrument with which we cut the crop, and she just bending down or bending over the crop in order to cut it. I listened, the poet listened the song of the girl, all motionless and still, without making any movement, and he was all still. That is the mesmerizing effect of the song on the poet. That the poet was completely lost in the song and he did not even move or budge a bit and kept standing at the place. As I mounted up the hill, and now after some time, the poet left the place, okay, and he started climbing up the hill. That means now the distance is increasing between the girl and the poet. The girl is still there in her field, but the poet is leaving the place and he is mounting up the hill. And in this way, the distance is increasing. But see, the distance does not make any difference. That is the quality of the song. How is that? The music in my heart I wore. Wore means had the impression. The music of the girl had made a deep impression in the heart of the poet that even long after it was heard no more. That is, when he leaves the place and he goes far and far ahead, and there is a long distance between the girl and the poet, but the poet is amazed and is startled to find that he is still feeling the impression of the song. He is still feeling the melody of the song, the effect of the song, and that is the most important quality of the song of the girl. That is solitary reaper. That the song is consistent, the song is spontaneous, okay, and in this way the poet leaves the place and goes ahead. However, the poet is able to feel the melody of the song that the girl is singing. So in this way, the language you are observing is very simple. There is no uh, difficult words. Vocabulary is also very simple. Anyone can understand. And this is the quality of Wordsworth poetry. The poetry or the poems of William Wordsworth are very simple. They are written in a very simple language. Okay, but they have melody in them. They have picture imagery in them, and the beautiful message is also conveyed through the poems by the poets. So now, friends, this is all about the textual study of this poem. I hope you have understood. I've tried to explain each and every line so that you can understand what the poet really wants to say. तो आप इसको एक बार और रिवाइज करना, वीडियो को देखना और टेक्स्ट को रखना पास में और फिर उसको पढ़ करके रिवाइज करना एंड देन यू विल अंडरस्टैंड इट बेटर। और एक बार पहला जो पार्ट है जिसमें मैंने थीम्स वगैरह आपको बताई हैं, पहले उसको पढ़ना, फिर इस टेक्स्ट को पढ़ना, एंड आई एम श्योर दैट यू विल रियली find it interesting, and your understanding will also become permanent, and you will get all the questions correct in your question paper. So thank you, my learners. Again, the same request: like it, subscribe, and share among your friends. And if you want any other, if there is any preference and your choice on a particular topic, you are welcome for your comments. So you can just comment, write your comments, and just express your preferences, which topic you want another video. तो आप फ्रीली अपनी बात रख सकते हैं, और कोई अगर पर्टिकुलर पोयम्स आपको पढ़नी है तो आप कमेंट के जरिए बता सकते हैं. सो थैंक यू वेरी मच. टेक केयर.